You know, when I first discovered Undertale, it was a bit late, like 2017? After just exploring that universe, I fell in love with that game. Later in the same year, I discovered some comic dubs, and some of them were a bit special, cause I told stories that moved away from Undertale. And I just discovered the alternate universes. I don't remember exactly which was the first AU I discovered, but if I had to name three, it will be GCTEL, Underswap, and Aftertale. Today's focus will be centered on the story of a monster determined to stop a human while remaining between life and death. Today, we are gonna talk about Aftertale. So, Aftertale is a 9-part comic created by Clone Queen, aka Lover of Piggies, on November 13, 2015. Our story begins after Sen's nightmare, seeing scenes from Geno timelines, where he dies after a fight against a human. Oh, and if you wonder why did I say Geno timelines and not this word, it's just that I don't wanna be censored. Waking up brutally, Pepper's worried about his brother, but Sen's reassuring him. Skelebros go on a reconnaissance to find a human who, thanks to their soul, could break the barrier that contains the monster, and thus realize Papyrus' dream to become a member of the Royal Guard. Sans will be the first to find and meet a human, but as he approaches them, he begins to have visions. But then, he reconfuses and plays his role as the Undertale game would have wanted. The human presents himself as Frisk. They solves Papyrus puzzles and follows the duo of skeletons. However, Sans continues to have visions from Geno timelines, and often wakes up in panic, worrying his brother and his new friend, the human. Sans reassures them that everything is fine, and puts them to bed and tells them a story. But this was only the beginning of a long and incomprehensible worry. After a sleepless night for Sans, Frisk leaves for Waterfall, giving Papyrus the opportunity to have a serious conversation with his brother. Sans confesses and admits that his visions, his nightmares are like fragments of another life, where everyone will die, even him, and that no one could prevent this disaster. But Papyrus reassures him that everything is fine. Later, Sans goes to Waterfall and finds the human there, and offers to go to Grildes. Sitting now, Sans asks the human if they have not already crossed paths, and if so, if they killed all the monsters in the underground. After a quiet time, the human begins to speak for the first time, and confesses everything, mocking Sans and wonders how can he remember. Sans has now the answers he wanted, and with one blaster shot, he pulverized the human, knowing full well that the world is going to be reset. Indeed, the world resets right after. However, Sans finds himself in a strange place, where he meets a skeleton with a human on top of him. This other skeleton is none other than himself, but from a different timeline. He explained that the human with him is called Frisk. The other human that Sans met is none other than Kara. The other Sans continues telling him how he ended up here, specifying that he can observe the world but cannot interact. After observing his brother murdered by the human, he was determined to find out what was the secret of their power, and thus remove this ordeal by destroying the resets forever. He knew that he could not save anyone, so he had to get determination in order to become stronger than the human. Sans endured but witnessed the impact of determination on his body, After successfully reaching the human, Sen somehow found himself in the save screen, and therefore had access to the power he was looking for, and could therefore save everyone. But before the other Sens could finish, the world was going to be reset, because somehow Sens broke the canon event of the timeline by destroying Kara. The other Sens asked Sens to distract Kara in the next timelines, the time to find a solution with Frisk, because they will continue to have fun with the power of the files, and if, by misfortune, Kara were to get bored, then it will be the end of all life in the universe. The other Sens teleports Sens to his timeline. Now Sens is aware and will make sure to succeed in his new mission. So in this new timeline, he will live with his brother to come across a human. Sens goes to the door of the ruins first, and falls face to face with Flowey, who mocks him in a way. He is also aware of their plan, and also wants to save himself, but warns Sens not to trust the other Sens, that he should rethink the lies he tells to his brother. Flowey disappears, the door of the ruins opens, and instead of falling on Kara, Sens falls on Toriel and Kara. After a meeting, they leave for Gul'Bis, joining Papyrus and Undyne. Sens asks Undyne that whatever happens, she must not take her eyes off the human. Sens will return back to his counterpart. Thus the other Sens will continue his story and will tell that after having wanted to reset the world, it would not have worked. He then finds himself at the last checkpoint of the human and will continue his fight against him. And after more than 536 tries, he gets killed. Then he leaves the judgment room in agony, holding in his hand the scarf of his brother. But in a moment of doubt, he takes the initiative to try to teleport to the save screen. After waking up, the other Sens admits that his body was very damaged, and that the rest of his soul was recreated near to Sens. The other Sens, calling now himself Gino, leaves Sens to ask Frisk a few questions. Frisk reveals their intention to try something new after the world erases with Kara's help. They confess to having made a Gino route, then having reset, then redone other routes to start Gino routes again. But with this part of darkness, wanting to hurt others, Kara managed to take total control over Frisk, ejecting them toward Gino, who was ready to kill them, but refused to do so, and began to protect them. Suddenly, Gino alerts Sens he must return to his timeline to find Papyrus. Sens crosses Snowdin, but falls on Kara. He then understands what had just happened. Sens takes his brother's scarf and kills Kara, restarting the timeline again. Gino will then be approached by a strange figure who tries to manipulate him, telling him that he is suffering. He offers to join him in a place called the Void, where he will no longer feel pain. The entity then disappears. Gino teleports Sens holding Pepper's scarf and is ready to answer him, and reveal his final plan: bring Kara back and block them in the save screen in order to stop this infinite timeline. Sens refuses and argues with Gino. Gino tells him that Frisk are responsible and that they do not deserve forgiveness. Sens retorts and refuses. After an argument, Gino teleports Sens back to his timeline. A new day begins, the usual patrol of skeletons begins again, and Pepper sees that something is wrong with Sens. And although he retorts that everything is fine, Papyrus asks him to be honest. He tells him to have realized that Sens was hiding things from him, and he was waiting for the moment when he would open up. Although he does not understand everything that Sens told him before, Papyrus loves his brother and worries about him. He tells him that he will always be there for him. After this speech, Sens had an idea. They go to the gates of the ruins, meet Kara and trap them so that all three of them are teleported to Gino. We are now immersed in Kara's flashback, where we see them welcomed by the Dreamers. They wonder if the Dreamers really want them in their family. They are convinced that they are a bad person, But the dreamers reassure them that they are not a danger to them, and that they will be always there for them. Let's go back to Gino, who is shocked to see Papyrus and Kara again. He starts to get angry at Sans by pushing Papyrus away. He starts a fight against Sans and Kara. During the fight, Gino implores Sans to let Kara die, but Sans does not agree with this solution. Sans continues by blaming themselves for the secrets they hide to protect their family. Gino stops the fight and calms down. Papyrus talks with Gino, who tells him that he does not intend to leave this place, that he would die otherwise. Papyrus, determined, tells him that he will find a solution to save him. Papyrus also makes a remark about the power of the humans. The fact that they have these choices and strengths at such a young age, and that they try new things, makes him empathetic. He wonders if their power is not rather a curse. On Sans's side, he talks with the two humans. Sans wants to listen to Kara, to know why they act like this. Kara answered him that they wanted to escape from the human world, that they found horrible. They thought that the monsters are probably better. Kara was happy with their new family, but after their death and their awakening as a spirit at Frisk's side, Kara witnesses the horrors that the monster committed to the 6 other children who fell after them. Kara blames Sans, reminding him that he was a human hunter and that he had been paid by Asgore. Kara wanted to make the monsters suffer for that. They thought they were better than the humans, but they were worse. Sans stops them and tells them that he is tired of this chaos. He asks with Frisk to stop everything and give his body back to Frisk. After a moment of thought, Kara agrees and lets themselves die, giving control back to Frisk. Frisk are now ready to reset and promise to never use this power again, although Gino does not trust them. Papyrus promises Gino to find a solution to save him. The three leave, and Gino observes a Pacific timeline. But while he gains hope by watching Frisk's journey, the entity resurfaces, then reminds him that he does not have much time left. They also blame him for now trusting his assassin. But Gino remains confident and threatens the entity. He tells him that he will never join him in this void. The entity, disappointed, leaves and ends by answering that he will regret not having accepted his offer. Gino bids him farewell by calling him Gaster. The trio is back and sees the damage on Gino's body. Fortunately, they had the idea to use an item, the Pie, which restores all HPs. Cause when Gino arrived in the save screen, his HP fell to 0, so he could regain them with the Pie. Gino doesn't want to believe in a simple solution, but still wants to try. He crosses the save screen, eats the pie and dies low! He eats the pie and facing the sun. A beautiful scene that leaves him speechless, although his eye has not healed. He remains alive. He meets Undyne, Alphys and Toriel, who are a little lost by Gino's sudden appearance, but they accept him into their new family, and then they all go to see a movie together. Well, that's what Afterthought is about, a story that I think made us all dream. A character stuck in the world convinced that he is doing good to benefit those who love him and those hurt himself and lie to others, gets his happy ending with his loved ones. I love this story. We witness the action that Sans could have, bruised and tired, doing nothing but lying, but understands how to get out of it and become better. Also, the story offered by Kara shows us how they could react in a world where everyone has rejected them, and thus how we, the readers, can sympathize with them. If you fall into this universe, just Tell yourself that you are never alone. People care about you. You should not lie to yourself constantly, and your life must go on. Remember, there is always tomorrow. So guys, thanks for listening to me for this focus that I loved producing. Don't hesitate to tell me what you think about it. And if you want to suggest a universe or a character to tell, just let me know on my Discord server or simply in the comments. So, it was Mr. Dean 452. Goodbye.